0 seconds. Just 10 seconds is all Archangel Michael is asking of you right now. Do not scroll. Do not skip. Because what is happening in this exact moment, in this very second that your eyes are reading these words, is not an accident. You did not stumble onto this message. This message was placed in your path by heaven itself. And if you leave before the end, you will miss the most important thing God has been trying to tell you for months. Stay. Just stay. Because the people who thought you were left behind are about to witness something they are completely unprepared for. Something is shifting right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, in the invisible realm, in the place where heaven makes decisions that earth has not yet seen, something enormous is being released with your name on it. Your name. Not a general blessing that floats around and lands wherever. A specific, targeted, divinely engineered miracle that was designed in heaven's workshop with your situation in mind, your tears in mind, your silent prayers in mind, your sleepless nights in mind, every single one of them. Do not scroll. Stay right here. Because this is the moment everything changes. You know what is strange? You know what nobody talks about when they tell breakthrough stories. They never tell you about the season right before. They show you the victory lap, but they never show you the waiting room. They show you the testimony, but they skip the part where you sat alone in your car and cried until you had nothing left. They show you the promotion, but they leave out the 3 years where you were overlooked and underpaid and undervalued by people who were not qualified to see what God had placed in you. But I see it. Heaven sees it. And Archangel Michael has been sent specifically to this moment, to this video, to find the ones who are still in the waiting room. The ones who have been faithful in seasons that felt faithless. The ones who kept going when every logical reason to keep going had disappeared. If that is you, do not move. What is about to be spoken over your life in the next few minutes will rearrange everything. Do not skip. Stay until the very end. What is coming next will stop your heart in the most beautiful way. There is something you need to understand about yourself before we go any deeper. You were never left behind. That feeling in your chest, that heavy, quiet weight that settled in when you watched everyone around you move forward while you stayed in the same place, that feeling lied to you. It spoke with such authority and such consistency that you started to believe it. You started to treat it as fact. You started to build a story around it, a story where you were the one who did not make it, the one heaven forgot, the one whose prayers bounced off the ceiling and dissolved into nothing. But let me tell you what was actually happening while you were in that room believing that lie. While you sat in that waiting season feeling invisible, Archangel Michael was making you unbreakable. While every door closed in your face, heaven was sealing off wrong paths that would have cost you your destiny. While people around you rushed forward into things that looked like blessings, you were being held back from premature arrivals that would have broken you before you were strong enough to carry them. The delay was not rejection, the silence was not abandonment. The waiting was not punishment, it was preparation. And the version of you that has come through that waiting, the version of you that is watching this right now, is a completely different person from the one who entered the season. You have been forged, you have been refined, and what heaven is about to release into your life requires exactly the level of strength and wisdom and character that you could only have developed by going through what you went through. Do not scroll. Do not skip. Stay right here, because what I'm about to tell you is why God is about to shock every single person who wrote you off. Think about them for a moment. The ones who counted you out. The ones who looked at your life and made their calculations and decided that you were not going anywhere. Some of them said it to your face, some of them said it behind your back, some of them never said a word, but you felt it in the way they looked at you, in the way they stopped inviting you into conversations about the future as though your future was already determined and it was not impressive. Some of them were strangers, some of them were colleagues, but the ones that stayed with you, the ones whose words you still hear in quiet moments, those were the people close to you. Family who questioned your choices, friends who slowly stopped believing in your dreams, people who watched you struggle, and somewhere in the watching decided that the struggling was permanent, that this was simply who you were going to be, that you had reached your ceiling. Do not move. Because what heaven is about to do in your life is specifically designed to answer every single one of those moments, not out of revenge, not to make you feel superior, but because God never builds a testimony without first creating a test. And the test was everything you went through, and the testimony is everything that is coming. Archangel Michael says, do not skip. Your miracle is in this message. Stay until the end. Let me tell you about the 3 signs that you are in the final hour of your waiting season. Not the beginning, not the middle, the final hour. The place right before the breakthrough where everything feels most impossible, most dark, most like nothing is ever going to change. Pay very close attention, because if you recognize yourself in these signs, then what is coming for you is closer than your next breath. The first sign is that the waiting has started to feel personal, not just frustrating, personal. Like heaven has somehow specifically decided that you are the exception to every promise. Like God's goodness is real and available and active in the world, but there is an invisible asterisk next to your name that says, accept this one. If you have had that thought, if you have felt that specific kind of loneliness where you believe that blessings flow freely for everyone except you, then you are in the final hour. Because that feeling, that specific doubt, always rises highest right before the breakthrough arrives. It is the last attack before the victory. It is the enemy's final attempt to make you walk away from the door that is literally about to open. Do not scroll. Heaven is speaking directly to you right now. Stay with me. The second sign is that you have stopped announcing your prayers. You remember when you used to tell people what you were believing for. You used to share your hopes with confidence. You used to speak about your future with a certainty that came from somewhere deep in your spirit. But somewhere in the waiting, you went quiet, not because you stopped believing, but because you got tired of the looks, the subtle doubt in other people's eyes when you talked about what you were standing for, the polite nods that said, I hope so for you, but I do not actually expect it. You stopped announcing because you were protecting your faith from people who could not hold it safely. And that was wisdom. That quiet withdrawal into a private faith was not defeat. It was discernment. It was you guarding the seed until the season was right to plant it openly. And the season is here. The quiet is about to end. What you have been carrying silently is about to become public. And the people who never knew you were still standing are about to see you standing in the middle of everything they thought would never happen for you. Do not skip. Do not leave until the end. What Archangel Michael is releasing over your life in this moment is real. Stay right here. The third sign is that recent weeks have felt strangely significant, like something in the atmosphere has been different, like you have been waking up with an inexplicable sense that something is about to happen, like you have noticed things, small things, a number that keeps appearing, a song that comes on at exactly the right moment, a conversation that goes somewhere you did not expect, a dream that stayed with you all day, a feeling in your spirit that the ground beneath you is about to shift. That is not your imagination. That is not wishful thinking. That is Archangel Michael moving in the atmosphere around you, preparing the invisible infrastructure for what is about to manifest in the visible. Heaven does not shock the world without first whispering to the person being elevated. Those whispers, those strange, significant moments, they were the whispers. And now comes the shout. Something unexpected is going to happen. It is already moving. It is already in transit. And you staying here right now in this moment is evidence that your spirit knows it. Now, I want to talk to you about the people who thought you were left behind. I want to go deep here because this is where the miracle gets specific. This is where heaven gets personal. There are people in your life who have a mental image of you, a fixed photograph in their minds of who you are and what you are capable of and where you are headed. And that photograph was taken during your lowest season. It was taken when you were struggling and unsure and not yet who you are now. And they never updated the image. They filed you away under a certain category and moved on with their own lives, carrying that outdated picture of you as though it were still accurate. Those people are about to have a moment, a specific, undeniable, impossible to explain moment where the photograph in their mind gets shattered and replaced with something that does not fit the story they told themselves about you. They are going to hear news about your life and feel a dissonance they cannot quite process. They are going to see something happen in your world that contradicts everything they decided was true about your ceiling. And the shock of it, the genuine involuntary shock that comes when reality refuses to agree with the narrative they built, that is the moment God has been orchestrating. Not for your pride, not for revenge, but because one of the most powerful testimonies in the kingdom is a life that defies the limitations other people placed on it. When someone who was counted out suddenly appears walking in a level of favor that cannot be explained by natural means, It forces every observer to reckon with the supernatural. It makes even the most skeptical witness ask how, and that how creates an opening for the answer, which is God. Your breakthrough is not just for you. It is a message to everyone who needs to know that heaven does not forget, that faithfulness has a return, that the God who makes promises keeps them, even when the timeline confused everyone watching. Archangel Michael says, tell them. Tell them the shock is coming. Tell them to stay until the end, because the specific thing heaven is about to do in their life is more than they are currently asking for. Stay right here. Do not move. I want to tell you something about the prayers you thought went unanswered, because this is where a lot of people lose hope. And I need you to understand what was actually happening in heaven during the times when it felt like your prayers hit the ceiling and fell back down. When you prayed for that specific thing, the thing you asked for with everything in you, the thing you cried over and fasted about and confessed until the words felt hollow and nothing happened, here is what heaven was doing. Heaven was not ignoring the prayer. Heaven was receiving the prayer, holding it, examining it, and beginning to build something in response to it that was larger and more complex and more perfectly suited to your actual destiny than what you originally asked for. You asked for a door. Heaven started building a building. You asked for an answer. Heaven started preparing a revelation. You asked for relief. Heaven started constructing a complete transformation. The reason it seemed like nothing was happening is because what was happening was too big to happen quickly. The architecture of your miracle required time. It required other pieces to fall into place first. It required you to reach a certain level of development before you could receive what was being built without it crushing you. The delay was not denial. It was construction, and the construction is finished, or close enough to finished, that what you are about to see in the next season of your life will make you understand every single day of waiting in a way that transforms the waiting from something painful into something you will actually be grateful for. Do you feel that? That pull in your chest right now? That is the presence of Archangel Michael standing in the room with you. That is heaven confirming what is being spoken over your life in this moment. Do not scroll. Stay right here. The part that will change everything is coming. Let me tell you about the specific breakthrough that is being released over your life. And I want you to listen to every part of this, because some of it is going to be so precisely accurate to your situation that you are going to feel like this was written for you personally. It was. Archangel Michael does not send general messages. When heaven interrupts your scroll and holds you in a moment, it is because that moment was prepared for your specific name, your specific story, your specific need. The first dimension of what is coming is sudden visibility. You have been operating in a season of hiddenness, a season where you were doing the work, putting in the time, developing the gifts, building the character, but none of it was being seen by the people who needed to see it. You were investing in a future that felt like it might never arrive, because none of the investment seemed to be producing visible returns. The hiddenness was intentional. Heaven hides what it is about to reveal so that the revelation is undeniable. When something has been quietly building in the shadows and then suddenly appears in the light, it arrives with an impact that gradual visibility never produces. This is about to end. The hiddenness is over. In the coming days and weeks, people who never noticed you are going to notice you. Doors that were shut to you are going to open in ways that feel almost too convenient to be natural. Opportunities are going to arrive that you did not pursue, that you did not apply for, that you did not even know existed, and they are going to arrive with your name already attached to them. Someone is going to think of you, someone who has the ability to change the trajectory of your life, and they are going to reach out, and when they do, it will feel like something clicked into place that has been misaligned for years. Do not scroll. Archangel Michael says your visibility season is beginning now. Stay until the end. The second dimension of what is coming is accelerated restoration. There are things in your life that were damaged or lost or stolen during the hard season. Things you may have already made peace with losing because the waiting for their return had simply gone on too long. Relationships that broke under the pressure of a difficult season. Resources that drained away faster than they could be replaced. Opportunities that seemed to close permanently. Dreams that you quietly put away because carrying them was becoming too painful. Heaven is about to restore them, not all of them in the same form. Some of them have evolved. Some of what was taken is going to come back upgraded, refined, better suited to who you have become through the process. But the restoration is real, and it is coming, and it is going to be so specific, so targeted to your actual losses, that you will have no choice but to recognize the hand of God in it. The years that felt wasted were not wasted. The time that seemed to disappear into nothing was not lost. Heaven accounts for every moment of faithfulness. Every day you chose to get up and try again when you had good reasons not to. Every moment you extended grace when bitterness was available. Every time you decided to trust what you could not see because giving up on the invisible was not something your spirit could do. All of it is on record, and the restoration coming your way is proportional to everything that was endured. Do not leave until the end. Stay right here to show heaven that you receive what is being spoken over your life right now. Go to the comments and type, "I receive it." Do it now, and then stay with me because we are not finished. What is coming next is the part that will make you understand why you had to go through everything you went through. The third dimension of what is coming is a peace that will feel supernatural, because it is supernatural. You have been carrying anxiety for so long that you have started to treat it as part of your personality. You have adapted to the weight of it. You have built your daily routines around managing it. You have made peace with the idea that this is simply how life feels, this low-level, constant hum of worry and uncertainty, and the sense that things could collapse at any moment. That weight is about to lift, not gradually, suddenly. You are going to wake up one morning in the middle of circumstances that have not yet fully changed and feel a peace that has no logical explanation. The situations will still be present, but your internal response to them will have shifted completely. You will feel held in a way you have not felt in years. You will feel certain in a way that is not based on having answers to all your questions, but based on a knowing that heaven is active in your story and nothing is being left to chance. The anxiety that has been your constant companion is about to meet its match, and its match is the presence of Archangel Michael standing guard over your peace in this new season. The fear that has been whispering impossibilities into your spirit is about to be silenced, not suppressed, silenced, permanently replaced by a confidence that comes not from your circumstances, but from your connection to the one who holds your circumstances in his hands. Stay with me. Do not scroll. The most important part of this message is still coming, and you have waited too long to walk away now. I need to talk to you about the ones who left. This is personal, and it might be painful, but it is necessary because heaven wants you to understand something that will set you completely free from a weight you have been carrying that was never yours to carry. Some people left your life during your hard season. Not all of them left with drama. Some of them simply drifted. They were present during the easier times, and then, as things became more difficult and the version of you that needed support started to emerge, they quietly reduced their investment in the relationship until one day you looked around and realized they were not really there anymore. No falling out, no clear moment of ending, just a slow withdrawal that left a space that still aches sometimes when you think about it. Others left more decisively, with words or actions that made the exit undeniable. And those ones, the ones who chose to leave when staying would have cost them something, they left a specific kind of wound. The kind that makes you question your worth, the kind that makes you wonder what was wrong with you, that loyalty to you felt optional when loyalty to others felt mandatory. Here is what heaven needs you to know about every single one of them. Their departure was not a judgment on your value. It was a revelation of their capacity. The people who cannot stay with you through your becoming were never built for your destiny. They were built for a version of your life that was smaller than what God designed. And if they had stayed, they would have done what people do when they find themselves in a space they were not built for. They would have unconsciously worked to shrink the space down to a size that felt comfortable for them. They would have, without malice, without even awareness, been limiting forces in a season that required expansion. Their leaving created the room for what is coming, room for the relationships that are aligned with who you are becoming and not just who you were when they knew you, room for the connections that are specifically prepared to walk with you into the next chapter. And that next chapter requires people with a capacity for your level that the ones who left simply did not have. Do not miss this. Do not scroll. Archangel Michael says the empty spaces in your life are not evidence of abandonment. They are evidence of preparation. Heaven was making room, And what is being placed in those spaces is worth every painful moment of the vacancy. Now, I want to tell you the secret. The secret that Archangel Michael says most people miss about why some receive their breakthrough and others wait longer than they need to. Are you ready? Stay right here, because this is the part that changes everything. It is not about how perfectly you pray. It is not about how consistently you show up to a building or how many religious acts you perform or whether your spiritual disciplines are immaculate. It is not about being the most worthy person in the room or having the cleanest record or the most impressive history of faith. All of those things matter, but none of them is the key. The key is alignment. Alignment with what heaven is doing right now in this moment in this season, not what heaven did 5 years ago. Not what heaven might do in the future. What heaven is doing now. And the reason alignment is the key is because God moves in seasons. There is a time for planting and a time for harvest, and they are not the same time. There is a time for preparation and a time for release, and they are not interchangeable. And if you are still operating in the posture of a previous season when heaven has moved into a new one, you will miss the movement. This is the season of release. This is the harvest moment for the ones who planted in seasons that showed no signs of yield. This is the breakthrough moment for the ones who have been faithful in seasons that gave nothing back. And the alignment required to receive what is being released right now is exactly what you have been doing by staying in this message, by not scrolling, by letting heaven speak without interrupting with your skepticism or your distraction. Every second you have stayed here has been an act of alignment. Every moment you chose to listen instead of scroll has been repositioning your spirit to receive what is being released in this moment. You are more aligned right now than you were when this message began. And with each word, the alignment deepens and the release accelerates. Do not move. The final revelation is coming. Stay until the very end. Archangel Michael says, I need to tell them about the 40 days. Listen very carefully. The next 40 days are a prophetic window, a specific, designated, heaven-appointed window of time in which what has been building in the invisible is going to begin its arrival in the visible. Not all of it at once. It will come in waves. And each wave will be recognizable, not necessarily for its dramatic size, but for its undeniable precision, the way it fits, the way it answers something specific, the way it arrives at exactly the right moment to address exactly the right need. In the next 40 days, watch for a financial sign. It will not necessarily be the full provision, but it will be an undeniable indication that the financial shift is beginning. Something will come through a channel you did not expect, an amount you did not plan for, in circumstances that feel too specific to be coincidence. In the next 40 days, watch for a relational sign. Someone from your past or someone completely new will enter your story in a way that feels like the missing piece of something you have been trying to complete, a connection that brings clarity, a presence that brings comfort, a relationship that opens a door you had stopped believing would open. In the next 40 days, watch for a spiritual sign, a moment of such profound clarity about your purpose and your path that the confusion of the past season dissolves completely. A dream, a word from an unexpected source, a moment in quiet where heaven speaks so directly to your specific situation that doubt becomes impossible. Mark this day. Remember this moment. Because 40 days from now, you will look back and you will know with certainty that this was where the tide turned. This was the moment before the moment. This was when heaven released what it had been holding. Now, before we go to the final word, there is something Archangel Michael is asking you to do, something that matters in the spiritual realm more than you might understand. Share this message with 3 people, not because of views or numbers, but because there are 3 specific people in your life who are also in their final hour of waiting and who need to hear exactly what you have heard today. You know who they are. Their faces may have appeared in your mind already. The ones who are struggling, the ones who are close to giving up, the ones who need someone to send them a message that says, heaven has not forgotten you. When you make what heaven has for others happen, heaven makes what is for you happen faster. That is not manipulation. It is a spiritual law as real as gravity. Generosity accelerates destiny. When you become a vessel that carries the message of hope to others, you become aligned with the very nature of heaven, and heaven moves toward what is aligned with its nature. Send it now, then come back, because the final word is coming and you do not want to miss it, my beloved child. You made it. You stayed until the end. And that is not a small thing. In a world designed to fragment your attention, in a moment when 10,000 other things were competing for the seconds you gave to this message, you stayed, and heaven noticed. The final truth is this: the reason you found this message today, the reason your finger did not scroll, the reason something in you held on even when another part of you wanted to keep moving, the reason is not random. You are chosen, not generally chosen the way a motivational poster uses the word, specifically chosen, named in heaven's agenda for this season. Identified as one of the ones whose testimony is about to shift from waiting to receiving, from preparation to manifestation, from hiddenness to visibility. The people who thought you were left behind do not yet know what is coming. They are operating with outdated information. They are looking at the field before the harvest and concluding that the harvest is not coming. They do not see what heaven sees. They do not know what Archangel Michael knows. They cannot read what is written in the books of heaven about your name and your season and what is already in transit toward your life. But they are about to find out. Not because you will tell them, not because you will announce it or argue it or prove it to them with words, but because the evidence will be undeniable. Because what God is about to do in your life will be visible to everyone who has eyes to see, and some who thought they did not believe will be surprised by what seeing it does to their own faith. You are not left behind. You are being launched. There is a difference. Being left behind means the destination passed you by. Being launched means the preparation was extended because what you are being launched toward required more runway than what most people need. Your runway was longer. Your preparation was deeper. Your foundation was built with more care, because what is being built on top of it is bigger than what most foundations are asked to carry. The shock is coming for the ones who counted you out, for the ones who wrote you off, for the ones who quietly decided you had reached your limit. The shock is coming, and it is going to be holy, and it is going to be beautiful, and it is going to be so specific to the exact moment in their minds when they decided you were finished that they will not be able to dismiss it as coincidence. Archangel Michael is standing at the door of your next chapter. The door is open. What is on the other side is everything you have been faithful for, everything you have waited for, everything you have carried hope for in seasons when hope was expensive and inconvenient and difficult to justify. Walk through. Do not skip what heaven has prepared. Do not scroll past your own miracle. Receive it. Right now, in this moment, let your spirit say yes to what heaven is releasing. Let your faith agree with the word that has been spoken over your life today. Subscribe to this channel so that you never miss another message that heaven sends through this space for your name. Share this with the 3 people who need it. Type in the comments, "I receive my breakthrough," and let your declaration become the seal on everything that was spoken today. The shock is loading, the miracle is moving, the breakthrough is breaking through, and the people who thought you were left behind are about to witness something they have no category for. You were never left behind. You were being prepared for a moment exactly like this one, and that moment is now.